Fellow sisters and brothers, I'm here to share with you some information about when the paycheck stops. So whether you're facing an active strike, government shutdown, layoff, or plant closing, we want to make sure that you are aware of the options and resources that are available to you and your families. My name is Mike Cooper, and I have the honor and privilege of serving as the labor liaison to the United Way of Central Iowa in partnership with the South Central Iowa Federation of Labor, AFL-CIO. I've personally served as a delegate and executive board member to South Central for nearly 10 years, and I've been a proud member of the American Federation of Musicians Local 75 during that time. I also spent 10 years as a member of OPEIU Local 277, where I traveled the states of Iowa, Illinois, Nebraska, Minnesota, and South Dakota, building relationships with union leaders and members across those states. So again, I just want to share with you how to survive when the paycheck stops and to let you know it is survivable. Even though you might feel at times like things can't get any worse, whether it's a strike, layoff, plant closing, or government shutdown, it is survivable. So the first thing you want to do is take charge of your personal finances. So you want to look at what you have and what you don't. What do you have access to? What can you use? What don't you have access to? And what will you be needing during this time? So keep in mind that in most cases, unemployment is temporary. Especially in a strike situation or government shutdown, it's usually quick and you will go back to work. When there's an unemployment situation like a plant closing, it might take a little longer, but again, you will go back to work. You'll find something and there will be income again. So start by preparing a complete household budget on your fixed items like your mortgage or your rent. So how much do you absolutely need to pay each month? If you're used to paying principal on a mortgage, you might want to look at only paying the minimum amount due. You'll want to be mindful of when your taxes are due, as well as payments for insurance. And you have loans, installment, and credit card payments. And then child support and other types of payments like child support and any other fixed monthly payments that are not listed here. So you really need to begin by making a complete list of all the things and figure out exactly how much money is going out. So next we move on to variable monthly expenses, which are expenses that can be a little less predictable. So things like food, gas, repairs, and membership dues. So that could be union dues or dues to a fraternal organization, veteran group, or maybe you belong to a gym. Some of these things you might be able to scale back or eliminate, although you will never hear me say stop paying your union dues. Then you also have prescriptions, recreation, utilities, and childcare. Again, these are all variable monthly expenditures, so you will want to make a list. So essentially, what you are trying to do is get a ballpark number for all of these expenses and figure out where you might be able to make some sacrifices. So your budgeted income should include income. And you're probably thinking, Mike, I don't have an income, I'm unemployed. But maybe you have someone living in your house paying rent or a spouse that is working. So you just want to make sure to include any money that is coming in one way or another. How much money do you have in your savings? Union strike assistance. Now, mind you, it is strike assistance from the union and not a wage since you are on strike. In the event of a plant closing, you need to take into account if there is any severance pay that might be coming from the company. Unemployment compensation. Now, unemployment benefits are typically not available to workers on strike unless you qualified one day before the strike started. Now, regarding a government shutdown, during the last shutdown in 2018 to 19, the Iowa Department of Workforce Development received an estimated 500 unemployment insurance claims from federal employees, but bear in mind that any unemployment benefits received would have to be paid back once you return to work. Accrued vacation pay, some folks cash out on their vacation pay. You have refund from pension funds or 401ks. Your 401k can be helpful to survive during the situation. So you just want to think about some of the resources out there that you can tap into while you are unemployed. Step 2, list your assets. Cash value of insurance policies. So some folks might have whole life insurance policies with liquid cash value that they can borrow from. Now keep in mind that this can lower your death benefit should you borrow from it. Most life insurance experts would tell you cash value should not be used as a savings device, but it can come in handy if there are no other options. Prepaid burial or funeral policies. Equity in your home, which is the difference between the value of your home and the amount that you owe. And then you might also want to look at the resale value of vehicles, jewelry, art, furnishings, bonds, stocks, boats, machines, tools, etc. So things of value that you can do without. and that you might be able to sell on Marketplace or, some other avenue like that. So for some folks that ride motorcycles, I'm pretty sure that most of you would object to selling it, and I would probably agree with you, but when you have to, you have to. So it's just a matter of thinking about how you can survive and how you can move forward temporarily for the short term until you get back to work. Step 3, set priorities for your expenses. So the most important thing first, and I cannot stress this enough, the most important thing you should do is pay your rent and your mortgage. Pay your rent and your housing. There is limited housing assistance in our area, or it might be tough to qualify, and that is going to be the most expensive item that you might have on your plate aside from childcare. Housing and a roof over your head is so important. You need to have a place to sleep and a place for your children to sleep. So pay your mortgage and your rent with whatever income you have coming in. This would be followed by utilities, health insurance, and car payments. With utilities, there are resources available to help you pay gas or electric that you can find through 211, and I will better explain 211 in a bit. Child support or alimony. And then make a list of payments in the order of their importance. So again, rent or mortgage, I would advocate to be the number 1 item on your list, just to make sure that you have a roof over your head. Step 4, make a complete list of creditors and make a list of the following information for each creditor: name, address, and phone number of the contact person, account number, total amount owed, payment schedule, and lastly, interest rates. Step 5, notify your creditors before you get behind. So it's a good idea to know how to contact them and not to be afraid to call and say, I am unemployed at this point. Can we make arrangements? Something to the effect of, can I make a smaller payment towards my credit card? But never make an arrangement you can't keep. So let's say you have a credit card through Best Buy and you owe $150 a month. You can call them and let them know about your situation and then ask if you can pay $50 a month now until an agreed period of time. If they agree and you have an official agreement in place, but the next month comes around and you can't pay the $50, they won't bargain with you again. So if you make a promise, you need to make sure that you keep it and follow through. In other words, don't make a promise you can't keep. Don't ignore phone calls from creditors. Pick up the phone and talk to them. I know it can be intimidating or you might feel tempted to dodge their calls, but trust me, it will be better in the end if you converse with them and just let them know about your situation. At this time, you cannot make your regular payment, but you will get back to the standard payment amount as soon as you can. If communicating through the mail, always make sure to include your account number, phone number, and address in all correspondence, and keep a record of every phone call and letter that you send, so who you talk to and at what time. Make sure to follow up by phone after sending anything in the mail. I also suggest when making a phone call to not try and negotiate with the first person you get. So that person you talk to, it's their job to get a payment from you. So you want to talk to a manager or director who would serve as a decision maker to be able to postpone that payment, lower it, or make an agreement. So always ask for a manager or director. Step 6, pay what you can. So even if you can't pay the amount creditors want, pay something. So even if it's $5 or $10. This keeps your overdue balance as low as possible and lets creditors know that you are making a good faith effort to at least pay something. Lastly, partial payments can keep your account from being turned over to a collection agency. So again, even if you pay $5 or $10, that is better than nothing. Step 7, stay in touch with creditors. So sometimes trouble comes because folks ignore government agency inquiries or creditors' requests for information, which only makes things worse. So if you do not understand notices or bills sent to you, call the person who sent the bill. So again, communication is key here, as it is with anyone in life. You must make sure to reach out to creditors when notices come due, as it will make your life much easier. Step 8, stop credit card purchases, and this can be a big one. So stop using all credit cards. I know a lot of folks, including family members, who have 3, 4, 5, or even 6 or 7 credit cards. So that could be a MasterCard, Visa, or lines of credit through retail stores. Interest on most credit purchases is going to be extremely high. So let's say someone has expenditures of $3,000 to $4,000 a month. Some folks would take out a credit card and they'll spend that $3,000 to $4,000, then pull out another credit card and do the same thing the following month. Then suddenly 3 months go by and they owe $9,000 to $12,000. So once you get back to work, that's going to be extremely hard to pay off, especially with high interest rates on credit cards. So if you have advance warning that you'll be out of work, try to make larger payments before that income is lost so you are not paying more in the long run when it comes to interest. Then, of course, if an emergency comes up, like your child needing medical help, or if there is truly no other option, that is understandable. Just make sure to pay attention to the APR and the interest rates and use the card with the lowest first. But if you can truly help it, try not to use credit cards. Step 9, reduce household expenses. So plan less expensive meals, use leftovers. Adjust your buying habits. Only shop when you need to and do not shop when you are hungry. I'm sure you've all heard that you are more likely to buy things that you don't need when you're hungry. Also, if you can help it, and I know sometimes it can be hard or even impossible, but avoid taking your kids shopping with you if you can. I know my son always wants the most expensive cereals that are bad for him anyways, and typically those are the more expensive options. Use coupons. Switch to a money-saving cell phone plan. So maybe you currently pay more for an unlimited data plan. You should have the ability to switch to a more affordable plan in most cases. So if you do make the switch, you can set notifications on your phone to let you know you've reached a certain limit when it comes to data. So there might also be an element of self-regulation involved, as well as just being mindful about your cell phone usage. And cut energy and fuel consumption. Turn off lights, wash full loads of laundry, put on extra layers when it's cold, shorter showers, etc. And I'm sure that you all can think of other ways to save money. All right, the option for early retirement and or access to medical assistance. So early retirement or Social Security. So maybe you've been contemplating early retirement. Maybe you're in your 50s or 60s. Ultimately, early retirement could be an option you could visit, but be aware that the earliest age that you can begin drawing Social Security retirement benefits is age 62. Also be aware that there is a catch. If you take Social Security benefits prior to reaching your full retirement age, this results in a reduction of your benefit amount. With regard to medical assistance, you have Medicare, which is for anyone 65 years or older unless you have a disability or disease. You have Medicaid, which is provided and jointly funded through the federal government and the state. You have health departments provided through the county in which you live. And lastly, we have community health clinics. Employment programs and services. There are one-stop resources available to find other employment opportunities or to file for unemployment. The Iowa Workforce Development can assist with either one of those services. As a reminder, striking workers cannot apply for unemployment benefits, and furloughed workers or essential workers would have to pay back any unemployment benefits received once you return to work. If you are a veteran, you can visit the Iowa Department of Veteran Affairs or even visit your local American Legion, VFW post, or AMVETS, etc. Many community colleges or universities have career and development placement offices. I know DMAC Urban Campus here in Des Moines has a career center where they provide no-cost career services to students and alumni in all stages of their career. Temporary labor services or temp agencies can be an option. Department of Labor through their Employment and Training Administration or ETA can help you explore occupation finder tools. And of course, since we are all union sisters and brothers, reach out to each other and see if there are other opportunities in the building trades or openings at a plant factory or just any other opportunities in the public sector unions. So in summary, there are many places that would be able to help you look for another job, places that help with resumes and options for seeking other types of employment. Food programs. There are many food programs out there, but for a lot of folks, it's a matter of not knowing where to turn or where to access information on where to go. So 211 is a great resource for locating pantries, and it's as easy as calling 211 on your phone or visiting unitedwaydm.org/211. And I'll break down other resources besides food pantries that are available through 211 right after this slide. You can also use Impact as a resource by visiting impactcap.org. They even have options for food delivery, and they service folks in Polk, Warren, Jasper, Marion, and Boone counties. If you are over the age of 60, you can access the Commodity Supplemental Foods Program through the Iowa Health and Human Services. School breakfast and lunch programs. Now keep in mind that Des Moines Public Schools at the time of this recording offer free breakfast and lunches to all students. Most schools outside of the Des Moines Public School system typically allow students to qualify for free breakfast and lunches if they do have a parent who is unemployed, but you would need to check with your child's school to be certain. There are also houses of worship or faith groups. And then, of course, solidarity donations are available. The South Central Iowa Federation of Labor and the Iowa Federation are great about communicating local union needs when there is a strike or layoff may be imminent. And that same thing goes for government or plant shutdowns when those are on the horizon. And that's what we as union sisters and brothers do when there are folks in need. We help each other out during times of struggle. And we should really be supporting each other outside of those times of need. You know, be union, build union, buy union year round. So in other words, we all walk the walk, right? We show up for each other. Lastly, there are community fridges that are available in our communities. So there are a lot of options and places to pick up food. In my experience with strikes or any unemployment situation, the first thing folks ask for after they pay their rent and utilities is food. I haven't run into anyone that has had to pay out of their own pocket for food for a whole month. Typically, you might have to run to a store every couple of weeks, but again, there are plenty of food programs out there and food pantries as well. So this is the section where we dig a little deeper into 211. If you need additional help or resources, 211 is a fantastic tool that you and your family can utilize and can be the one-stop shop to help locate many of the resources mentioned in this presentation. Now, I'm sure everyone is familiar with 911 or 411, while 211 is another phone number you can simply dial, or once again, you can visit unitedwaydm.org/211. 211 is the most comprehensive source of information about local resources and services in the country. So they employ local experts that are available to help 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and have options for multiple languages. And all calls are confidential and can be anonymous. And again, it is specific to your community or your neighborhood. 211 resources include assistance with locating other phone numbers or hotlines for various resources in your local area, organizations or nonprofits that can help you with your housing needs, access to health agencies, additional information on where to obtain food, help with transportation needs, other financial assistance initiatives, clothing and household items, support for handling your utility bills, senior or disability help, and many other resources. So again, you can call them and just tell them the specific issue you would like help with, and they can provide you with information and phone numbers to call. If you can access the website, it is extremely simple to navigate, and I will show an example of how you do that right now. So here's what the website actually looks like. So if we scroll down here and we go to the 211 Iowa website, that will open a new tab. So once that loads, this is the page that you will see. Search for resources in Iowa. So you just simply click on the search here. And then what do you need help with? So it gives you some suggestions, but let's just go ahead and click I need food for this example. Click search, and I went ahead and put in 50317 since that is the zip code for the machinist hall and where we typically congregate during situations like this. So it just kind of breaks down. You can see there's 64 results that came up here. I don't know, I think it's searched, pretty far out. So you got a map here, but you can click on their websites, you can call them, get phone numbers. There's also an option on here that you can chat with folks directly online, or if you prefer to talk to somebody live and in person, again, it's as easy as dialing 211. Another great source of information is the official AFL-CIO Survival Guide to Unemployment, which is available at www.unitedway.org/our-partners/labor. Lastly, I wanted to take an opportunity to thank you for watching this presentation. I truly hope you found some value and were able to take away some good information. My contact information is listed up on the screen, and I want you all to feel free to give me a call if you have any questions or ideas on how I might be able to improve this presentation. I always have my cell phone on me, but if I do not answer, I might be in a meeting, so please make sure to leave me a voicemail. Thank you again, sisters and brothers, and remember that you have siblings in the labor movement for a reason. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and stay united. Thank you.